Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. That is bullshit. That's kind of overpowered. They show up in a court of law and they're not allowed to testify. They don't have to, because they can basically say, "Nah, I'm good." No. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that should not be a real thing if it is one. Hey guys, Zack here. Welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. So we are in the trial ladder. If you missed the last episode, we accidentally got Emma in trouble for murder by accident. It wasn't intentional, I swear. It's just the evidence wound up putting us in that direction. We put the pieces together and it wound up letting us in that direction. It wasn't my fault. I just did what the game told me to do. So, blame the game. But in any case, we're going to be moving on to the trial ladder, which I'm assuming is the last piece of the game before we move on to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney 2, which is also on this game because it's a trilogy. But in any case, we're going to be moving on. Trial day, trial ladder. Let's see how this is going to play out. I'm assuming not well. February 25th, 12 to 6. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. How about not interrupting anything, pals? You're always interrupting, Gumshoe. I imagine you always would be. Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Wait, Detective Gumshoe, what is it? You've got a lot of nerve, pal, making a detective run around all day while on duty. And to top it off, you called me here. I've seen happier people at funerals. I take it Elaine's having you run errands again? Let me tell you, this is the last time, pal. Here, she asked me to give this to you if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law? Edgeworth was talking about this just the other day. You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. You could at least study some evidence law, really. The chief prosecutor also wanted me to give you a message. A message? He said, if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Oh, we're going to be taking on Detective Gant this episode. That reminds me. The fact that the evidence was in his locker showed that he most likely was involved. He probably planned this. He probably planned to get Emma in trouble, if I had to guess. Him. I guess I'll need to give this book a thorough read. All right, from this guy explains the two rules of evidence law. Okay. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good now, though. Maybe. Let's check. What's in it? Check. Rule 1, no evidence shall be shown without approval of the police department. Rule 2, unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case on trial. Alright. That seems pretty simple. Also, that's a short book. That's a short-ass book. It really is. That's it? That's all they printed? 1 page that says Rule 1, Rule 2, and then list the rules? That's it? That is the shortest book I have ever read in my entire life. And I've read children's books. That should tell you something. Children's books are not known for being very wordy. This is shorter than a children's book. Okay, fine. What the hell? All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Huh? Haven't you figured it out yet? Why I'm still sitting on that prosecutor's seat? Despite all these allegations being thrown at me? Mr. Edgeworth, the real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's all been ruined with this forged evidence if you were unaware of. Emma Skye found out she was unwittingly caused a man's death. And now, you're telling me you want to do more? Yes? You gotta be kidding me, pal. You're missing the point, Detective. Lena didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? Yeah, and we're going to expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Yeah, it's time to actually bring everything full circle. Time to actually put the final nail in the coffin. Because we've been waiting to swing our hammer for like 2 days now. Alright. In any case, court will now reconvene for the trial of Miscellaneous Guy. Mr. Edgeworth. Yes, Your Honor? The Inquiry Committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well... normally, this is where the prosecution calls forth a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that you, Mr. Edgeworth, may have, struck a bargain? Okay, he's being coy. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just, you see, everyone has been talking, and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. A solution? That being the case, the prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. Okay, that's, interesting. What? But there's no precedent for what you're proposing. Undeniably, this is an unusual arrangement, but a very effective one. It would prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Alright, we're working together to solve this mess. That's settled. The, defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright? You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. The defense calls... Who? Okay, who do I call then? Time's finally come to bring out the real murderer. Well, it's been pointing to this guy. It's been pointing to Gantz this whole time. Presents? Damon Gantz. The defense calls Damon Gantz to the stand. Damon Gantz? What does he have to do with anything? He has everything to do with everything. He's suspect number one. We've been doing a lot of dancing around it. As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. Yeah, that, and he also hid evidence in his safe, so we should probably hear what he has to say regardless. As luck would have it, he should still be in the courthouse. He would also be the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? Yeah, pretty much. Okay, true. Alright, bailiff, please escort Mr. Gant to the stand. Hi. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? I was just on my way to lunch. Not anymore, you're not. You're a witness. Take the stand. Say your name and occupation, please. Your name and occupation, sir. Worthy, are you sure you want to do this? Yes. Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball, eh? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, the court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto. What's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean that time when Leia's sister murdered the prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. We want to hear what you have to say. there are still some things unaccounted for. Oh? Like what? Like the role you played in all of this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. Can't it be both? Can't it be both? This is Phoenix Wright we're talking about. Can't it be both? You're aware, of course, that police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure. Take my testimony, for example. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. That is bullshit. That's kind of overpowered. They show up in a court of law and they're not allowed to testify. They don't have to, because they can basically say, "Nah, I'm good." No. I don't know if that's a real thing, but that should not be a real thing if it is one. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well, the witness may now begin his testimony. Alright, SL9 incident. Tell me what happened. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help. When I went to my office, I found Lena there. Apparently, she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, it had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. But when Emma sent Neil flying, it seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. If the police chief has the right to refuse to testify, then I'd better hit him hard and fast. Okay, cross-examination. Present. Well, not present. As I recall, a ceremony was held at the police department that day. Yes, that's right. I guess you could say I'm a workaholic. After winning his award, Neil was all fired up too. That's probably what spooked Dark and made him run away like that. Was the defendant, Lena Sky, also present in the room? I don't quite remember. At the very least, she wasn't there when Dark ran for it. To make a long story short, we slipped up. That power outage didn't help either. Alright, press? So the two of you ran immediately after him, right? That's right, but Dark made it to the elevator first. So Neil and I split up. He went upstairs and I went downstairs. I guess you could say he got lucky. What's this about a power outage? Oh, that. The elevator stopped all of a sudden and I got the shock of my life. Well, probably not as shocked as Neil was when that knife went into his heart, though. That's not funny. No, it's really not. That's morbid as hell. Yeah, I sometimes use the word funny in a way that isn't supposed to be meant as funny, but I kind of mean it like funny weird, but still. Sometimes I misuse the word funny. That's not funny. A guy died. Have some sense. When I went to my office, I found Lena there. Could you tell us what you saw? It was a shocking sight. Neil and the serial killer were lying in a heap on the floor, all tangled together. Dark was also lying collapsed on the floor. Yes, apparently he had his head and was knocked out. Next to them were those two poor girls, Lena and Emma. Lena was cradling Emma in her arms. Looking back at it now, she must have already known what her sister had done. Seems suspicious as hell. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. What do you mean by arranged? How can you know that? Because of the victim's body. It had already been moved. So that means... You found the body near Lena's desk? That's right. I think you said it earlier. It was my suit of armor that really stabbed the prosecutor. Yes. Anyway. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. So you're saying that the forgery had already taken place by the time you arrived at your office. That's exactly what I'm saying. I can understand how Lena must have felt. But moving a body and hiding evidence are inexcusable no matter what the circumstances. Is that how it really went down? Staring at the witness won't do you any good, Mr. Wright. If you're going to stare at anything, you're better off staring at the court record. Worthy! Always the smooth talker. But which piece of evidence ties Gant to the forgery? Lena did admit to forging evidence. But that can't be the whole truth. Somehow I've got to link Gant to the incident. I gotta link Gant to the incident somehow? How do I do that? I'm gonna Google it. I have no idea. Oh, it's the jar! I need to press it on his final statement, apparently. Okay. There you go! You claim you had nothing to do with the forgery. But I'm afraid that is a claim you cannot back up. Explain yourself. Several pieces of evidence were found in your office. Take this jar, for example. That's the blue badger you showed us earlier. A piece of this jar was discovered in your safe. Not only that, but the evidence list I presented earlier was actually found inside your desk. It was found where? You see, Chief Gant, these articles of evidence uncovered in your office are both concrete proof that you also played a part in the illegal investigation. Okay, we pinned it on him. Chief Gant, what's the meaning of this? Oh, here's a defense attorney who may even rival Worthy. So, you admit it then? That you were involved in the forgery? Who, me? Or do you mean you? Me? Why would I have anything to do with that? Well, you were the one who snuck into my office when you found this evidence. Prosecutors aren't the only ones capable of forging evidence, you know. Defense attorneys can do so too. Isn't that right, Righto? However, Detective Gumshoe was present during the investigation. Worthy, my boy. Not even detectives are exempt from the law. Rest assured, Dick will receive his due punishment. What? If Detective Gumshoe's salary jumps any further, he'll end up paying to work. Yes, well, in light of the detective's presence, please give us your testimony regarding these pieces of evidence found in your office, and their relation to the forgery that took place at the crime scene. My. Kids these days no longer know how to put two and two together. Okay, evidence and forgery. Now we're actually moving on to the meat and potatoes of this. Let's see, what was it now? A jar fragment? And a list? For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. There's no reason I participate in forgery. Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Mr. Wright? Yes, Your Honor? When investigating the crime scene, you should have been more careful to observe protocol. You do understand that I am the Chief of Police, right? There will be consequences. Oh. Indeed, I believe I will press charges, so you won't make the same mistake again. My apologies, Chief, but would you mind waiting until tomorrow for that? Today is, well, you know. Alright, Udgy. In return, though. I know. That place, right? Huh? What are these guys, telepathic? Apparently. Evidence of forgery. Cross-examination. For all I know, you could have planted them in my office. What makes you think that? I appreciate it if you stop making these ridiculous allegations. Yes, you do have a point. You wouldn't have the guts to do something like that. What? I'll have you know, back in the day, I once broke in for a cattle ranch and tipped. But Mr. Wright, what are you saying? Phoenix, maybe keep that one to yourself? Anyway, you can't prove you didn't carry in the evidence, can you? If you have proof to the contrary, you're going to need it later. Later? What are you talking about? What else? I'm talking about when Rito's prints are found. Yes, if they're found inside my safe, then they will prove his investigation was illegal. I've never faced anyone as slimy as this guy. Anyway, you can't prove when those pieces of evidence were discovered. What do you mean by when? What do you mean by that? This is all purely hypothetical, of course. But suppose I did place those items in my safe. Such an act wouldn't necessarily constitute forgery. If concealing evidence found at a crime scene isn't forgery, I'm not through speaking yet, Righto. It all depends on when the evidence was discovered. If they were found after Dark was convicted, then they're worthless. Are you saying this jar fragment wasn't discovered in the initial investigation? It would appear not. After all, it wasn't listed in the evidence list. For all we know, it could have suddenly materialized the day after Dark was sentenced. Oh, and wouldn't that be convenient? Right. The chief is talking about a possibility, so long as you can't rule that out. Your remarks, however clever they may be, will always succeed in wasting time. Tell me something I don't know. Come now, Righto. Think about it. There's no reason I participate in forgery. How can you look me in the eye and say that? Because I'm innocent. Okay, if you say so. Remember? Who was it that murdered Neil? I'm not sure I care for the word murder here. But in the end, the person responsible for Mr. Marshall's unfortunate demise was Emma Skye. Well, now do you see? Rearranging the crime scene wouldn't help me out in any way. Really, Chief Gant? At the very least, there is one thing, very large benefit you've reaped from all this. Oh? I wasn't aware. What is this benefit? That would, of course, be the position you have. Chief of Police? Oh? The resolution of the SL9 incident secured your promotion to Chief. That in itself is a sufficient motive. Ho, ho, ho! Oh, that's a good one. Huh? Do you really think I'm that incompetent? What do you mean? Even without that case, I was already in line to become the next chief. The resolution of SL9 merely sped up the inevitable a little. Is that true, Edgeworth? Yes, he was going to be made chief anyway. Fair enough. Yeah, be careful when pointing that finger, or you might wind up being the one pointed at. So that means there's only one possible motivation for you to commit forgery. If you didn't do it for yourself, then you did it for someone else. Don't be silly, Worthy. You know me better than that. There are only 3 people I look out for. Me, myself, and I. There, it's out in the open now. Archie, would you mind if I change my testimony a little? By all means, please do. I wouldn't be anyone's accomplice if there was nothing in it for me. Huh. Okay, apparently I'm just supposed to press him on it again. Or at least according to my nothing in it for you. Sorry, but the only person I care about is yours truly. That girl. Lena's little sister, was it? If you think I felt sorry for her, you'd better think again. You're right. You don't feel sorry for anyone. Be tough on crime and tough on people. That's how I was raised. That's a terrible way to be raised. You seem to be lax enough on yourself, though. Ho, ho, ho! Oh, that's a good one, Worthy. Could there have been something in it for him? Given his selfishness, would he have helped someone out? Well, there's a possible accomplice, maybe? I'm gonna I can't think of how that would help him. That means he wouldn't have helped out anyone. Relax and take a deep breath, Mr. Wright. Try to think outside the box. After all, that's what you're good at, isn't it? Think outside the box. I never thought I'd hear him tell me that. The question isn't who would the chief help, it's who would ask the chief for help. If someone did that, he'd be sure to find a way to benefit from that person. It appears the defense has nothing more to say. Chief, would you please repeat your testimony for the beginning? Let's see. It's not if the chief would help someone, but who would ask the chief for help. Okay. I'm thinking, I have an idea. Sure, you might not have helped someone out helped out anyone for their sake, but it would benefit you. You might decide to assist someone. Mr. Wright, it appears you're positively determined to portray the chief as a nice man who likes to lend people a hand. That's not what I mean. Very well, then. Who's this person you believe Chief Gant may have helped forge evidence? Well? Lena is the most likely candidate? Lena's the most likely candidate since she was the one who presented false evidence to finally get Joe Dark arrested? If it's not Lena, I have no idea, so let's go with Lena. Chief Prosecutor Lena Sky, the defendant? I believe it's quite obvious in light of the circumstances. Emma Sky fell victim to an unfortunate series of events. Who will want to help her more than her own sister, Lena? And as for Chief Gant, he would also have a reason to help Lena if she asked him to. That reason, of course, is self-profit. Self-profit? What do you mean? After the SL9 incident was resolved, Lena Sky was appointed Chief Prosecutor at the Prosecutor's Office. The person who arranged this job change was you, Chief Gant. Okay, we got him! But how would he profit from all this? He would be able to use the Chief Prosecutor as his puppet. Essentially, he would acquire unchecked authority over all investigations. Do you mean to tell me that despite the Chief's formidable appearance, he plays with puppets? Not literally, no! Oh, wait. You must mean puppet as in someone forced to do his bidding. Never mind. Thank you. Admit, Chief. You assisted Lena Sky in forging evidence. Your motive to appoint her as Chief Prosecutor so you could control her. Righto, my boy. You have quite an imagination. Let me ask you something. What? Do you have any proof of this? That I controlled Lena? For example, is Lena testifying that I've done such a thing? Lena. She's keeping quiet to protect Emma. There's no way she'd testify against Gant. I'm afraid without any proof, this all amounts to nothing more than mere conjecture. Unless... Oh! We got a thing! That is also what happened in this incident. This incident? Which one would that be? Of course I'm talking about... the murder of Detective Bruce Goodman. The Chief Prosecutor had been acting strange throughout this entire trial. Almost as if someone had been controlling her. Hey, he's got a point. Worthy, you'd better watch your tongue. I wouldn't want you to get hurt. Just what do you mean? What he means, Your Honor, is that Chief Gant is involved in the murder of Detective Goodman. Not only that, but the Chief is now making Lena take the rap to cover up his involvement. What? What? That definitely seems like the case. Order, order, I said order! Mr. Wright, you can't be serious. Huh? This is an affront to the highest ranking officer in our law enforcement agency. To accuse the chief of police of blackmail and murder. That's impossible. Yeah, but we're one of the best lawyers out here. Your Honor, I was merely reiterating what Mr. Edgeworth said in easier to understand language. Thank you for throwing Edgeworth under the bus, Phoenix. Thank you. It's too late, Mr. Wright. There's no turning back for us now. It looks like he's the one who's decided to go through with this. Alright, we need to find out how this pin... Can you prove this, Mr. Wright? That the chief, a high-ranking officer of the law, is involved in this murder? Good question. Regardless of his rank or title, Chief Gann is just a man. The question is he a criminal? I believe the evidence will tell. I see. Alright then. Let's see what Mr. Wright's got. And it better be good. Sources evidence that ties Chief Gann to the murder of Detective Goodman. I think I know what it is. I'm pretty sure it's the list. I'm pretty sure it's the list of numbers, since we still don't know what 777777 is. At least yeah. Yeah, I'm 1 7 short, but still. We still don't know what this is. This is the only unknown that we have. So I'm gonna go with this. If it's wrong, I'll take a penalty, I guess. But if I'm right, this should pin him to the murder. Since this is the only evidence I got. So let's do it. Fingers crossed this is correct. This is the ID card list. Yes, the one that shows who entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. There's one ID on the list we couldn't determine on the owner of yesterday. 7777777. Sorry, but there's no way you can prove that that's my card number. It's your number. What? How do you know that? The safe in Chief Gant's office requires a code to open. A 7-digit code. 7 digits? You don't mean... I'm afraid so, Your Honor. The code was 7777777. The same as the remaining ID card number on that list. Chief Gant, you entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. He is pissed. He is very pissed. Order, order! Chief Gant, what do you have to say? Nothing. The defense's search of my office was a violation of regulations. And I will demand Mr. Wright be punished to the maximum extent of the law. But right now, this court demands an explanation from you. About the use of this ID card. He kind of is stuck in between a rock and a hard place, isn't he? Chief Gant, so you admit it? You entered the evidence room on the day of the crime. What about it? I'm chief of police, whether it's the evidence room or the bathroom. What's the difference? I can go anywhere I want. Tell me, when you entered the room, were you alone? I always go to the bathroom alone, as I do with the evidence room. Detective Goodman wouldn't have happened to be with you that day, would he? I hadn't seen him in days. I'm afraid you just undone yourself. On that day, you had to have met with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? This trial's purpose is to determine Leia Sky's guilt. No, it isn't, Your Honor. This trial's purpose is to determine the truth. If Chief Gant met the victim on the day of the crime, then we need to determine one thing. What transpired during that meeting? In that case, Mr. Wright, I'm going to have to ask you for evidence. Show us proof that the victim went to meet Chief Gant on that day of the crime. Well, let's see. I'm stuck again, but... The only thing I can think of is 221 SL9, which was the memo? This is the only thing that ties it, because Goodman was the only one who had access to the SL9 case because he was the leading detective on it. So he would have had to have been the guy to go in. He would have to have been the guy. Bruce Goodman. Can only be submitted to the chief. This could also be it. It's either this or the other thing, so let's go with this first. This can only be submitted to the chief of police and was written on the day of the murder. This has to be it. Detective Goodman lost an ID card on the day of the crime. Or to be more accurate, Jake Marshall stole it. So Detective Goodman filled out a lost item report. He would have had to give that report to the chief of police. Yet you are in possession of the report, which means you can't be sure if he filed it. Okay. He filed it. How do I know, you ask? Because he needed to enter the evidence room that day. He needed to? Yes, to transfer the evidence out. Oh. Detective Goodman took the form from you, Chief Gant. Then, you accompanied the detective to the evidence room. I accompanied him? There's no other way that the murderer and Detective Goodman could have entered the room. Hold on, let me guess what you're going to say next. Oh no, he's going to pull a JoJo's and be like your next line will be. He's going to do exactly that. I, the chief of police, may report Goodman. Exactly. But wait, the chief didn't necessarily need to accompany him to the evidence room. He could have just lent him his ID card. Yes. Now that you mention it, I believe I might have done something of the sort. Sorry, but that's not possible. Okay, we're tag teaming him, so this guy's kind of stuck. According to the record, your card was only used once. Yet you showed us your ID card earlier. If you had really lent it to Detective Goodman, it would have been found on his body. Ugh. No! What the hell? That was a cool breakdown animation. Chief Gant, you didn't. The murder was most likely a spur-of-the-moment crime, for no one in their right mind would choose the police department as a place to commit murder. After the murder, you contacted Lena at the prosecutor's office. Why? To dispose of Detective Goodman's body, of course. You're forgetting, Mr. Wright. The victim's body was discovered in the prosecutor's office parking lot. How did he manage to move it there? I was at the police department the entire day, you know. And everyone's aware that Lena stayed at the prosecutor's office after the ceremony. Everyone except me, it seems. Still, you're the chief of police. You have an entire police force at your disposal. Oh, so you think I just ordered an officer to do it? Hey, you! Take this here dead body over to the prosecutor's office. I don't think so. Chief Gant, you left all the evidence we need to prove how you moved the body to the prosecutor's office. And all this time I thought it was just a useless clue just taking up space. What clue? How could the chief have moved the body? Mr. Wright, show us this evidence. To move the victim's body, Chief Gant use this. What did he... I'm already confused again. I want to say Blue Badger, but I don't know if that's correct. It's the only piece of evidence we haven't used, but... if I'm right. I'm looking up to see if I'm right. It says the screwdriver, apparently. So I was completely wrong. This is how he moved the Detective Goodman's body. What's that? A screwdriver? But what does that have to do with the case? Mr. Edgeworth, think back to the day of the crime. What is this screwdriver doing here? It's here because... Ah! I was asked to go. By Chief Gant, no less. I get it. He told me he wanted me to keep it here in the prosecutor's office. In any case, on the day of the stabbing, I brought this back here. Ah, so he stuffed him in the trunk and tricked Edgeworth into moving it. After the ceremony on that day, I didn't plan to return to the prosecutor's office. But you did, because Chief Gann asked you to. You mean The body was found in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. But not his fault. I believe it's obvious what happened. The body was moved in by that car. And poor Edgeworth had no idea. Detective Goodman's body was carried in the trunk of Mr. Edgeworth's car. Yes, unless, of course, you have another explanation, Chief. Why else would you have asked Mr. Edgeworth to transport evidence for a closed case? There's only one plausible explanation. To transport the body to your accomplice, Miss Lena Skye. Order, order, order! What's going on here? I wish I could tell you. Is there no room for rebuttal to the defense's outrageous accusations? Apparently not. Think back to the photograph Miss Starr took at the prosecutor's office. This was not a photo of the body being stuffed in the trunk to be taken away. It was exactly the opposite. It's a photo of the body being taken from the trunk. Chief Gann, please say something. I believe... Your time's up. Okay. My time's up? Sorry, Wright, but I'm having lunch with the District Attorney General after this. We have to get going in order to make it in time for the early bird special. But the cross-examination isn't finished yet. Remember what I told you earlier? A police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons. Like the right to refuse to testify. I'm invoking that right now. God damn it. What? That's not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. So you're going to just run away after all this? Run away? Don't make me laugh, Worthy. I stabbed old Goodman? That's what you're saying, right? But if you had any conclusive evidence, you would have presented by now. Well, You think I had Lena dispose of the body? If so, then show your proof and get it over with. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Damon Gann is the current chief of police. This court will not tolerate any accusations against him without concrete proof. Well, Mr. Wright? Your Honor? Do you have any concrete proof? Proof that Chief Gann murdered Detective Goodman and made Miss Skye dispose of his body. Do I have any concrete proof? I'ma say yes? I'm going to say yes? I can't let him just squirm his way out of this. I've got to keep the pressure on. Yes, Your Honor. I do have such evidence. Then please hurry up and present it. Just remember, it better prove Chief Gann murdered Detective Goodman beyond a shadow of a doubt. Let's see. I'm assuming there is evidence. There's a lot of blood? How do I prove it? I'm going to need to look it up again. I'm sorry, I'm looking it up so much. I can't physically go back. Crap! I'm not supposed to be here then! I'm not supposed to be here, I just looked it up. I'm not supposed to do this. I guess I have no choice but to... I have no choice but to do this. I have to do this all over again now, don't I? Crap! Oh, let's just present some random evidence and get it over with. So, okay. It's proof. Okay. I'll let you be the judge. But I am the judge. Okay. Alright. Well, what do you think you're... It's not. Well, I think... Okay. I guess it wasn't enough. Please, Your Honor, give me just a little longer to consider. I'll say it again, Mr. Wright. Dan McGann is the current chief of police. This court will not... Okay. Your Honor, I don't have any concrete proof. Okay, so I have another opportunity to do this correctly. I have no proof yet. It's no use showing evidence I'm not even sure of myself. No, Your Honor, at present, I have no conclusive evidence. See, Edgy? In that case, this court is forced to penalize you for your allegations against the chief. What? Here's a tip, never gamble what you can't afford to lose, Righto. It seems that Lady Luck was right on my side again today. Okay, Edgy, I'll leave the rest to you. And he's leaving. Great. I warned you earlier, Mr. Wright. This is an affront to the senior officer of our nation's law enforcement agency. Wow! Oh, I'm saved! Apparently. Lady Luck, Maybe we should have a word with her. Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? There's one lady who knows the real truth behind this trial. We haven't yet had the honor of hearing her testimony. A lady who knows the truth. Another witness. In the absence of conclusive evidence, the only other method is proof is testimony. But Chief Gann has invoked his right to refuse to testify. True, but he has an accomplice. There's still someone else, one more witness who can answer all the questions raised in this trial. Someone right in this very room. But Mr. Edgeworth, who is this person? Why are you asking me, Your Honor? Have you forgotten? The defense is the one calling the witnesses today. Okay, let's do it. Mr. Wright, does such a witness exist? She may not be willing to tell the truth, but we can't just stop now. Yes, Your Honor. The defense calls forth... Lena. The defendant? Miss Lena Sky? She was in the underground parking lot at 5:15 p.m. on February 21st. Her task is to dispose of the victim's body. In accordance with a certain someone's orders. Mr. Edgeworth? The prosecution has no objections, Your Honor. Alright, we may have pinned him. Very well, the court will now take its final recess for the day. Ah, crap, we gotta do this again? In 15 minutes, we will reconvene to hear the defendant's testimony. We've gotta do another one of these? Really? Good God! How long is this trial? Hold on. Huh? Chief Gann, I thought you were going to eat. Listen good, Lena. Uh-oh, he's talking to Lena. I don't think you need to tell you this, but if you accept Mr. Wright's claims, there will be terrible consequences. Me thinks he's gonna find a way to squirm out of it anyway, even though because he's chief of police. If she testifies, it's going to be bad. That's right. Your sister will be found guilty for Neil Marshall's murder. Ah, this isn't good. Of course, you'd never support such outrageous claims anyway, right? Just something to think about. Alright then. I've got a lunch date to meet. Okay. Well, okay, if there isn't any further objections. This court is now in recess. Okay. My god. This is going to be interesting. February 25th, 2:04 p.m. District Court Defendant Lobby number 2. So, this is going to be interesting. Lena has to testify, but if she does, her sister will be convicted of murder. But then again, if she doesn't testify, she'll be convicted of murder. But if it's successful, then Damon Gann will be convicted of murder. Either way, somebody's getting convicted of murder. Looks like we managed to stay in the game. Yeah, thanks to your help, Edgeworth. That chief. He's something else, eh, pals? Detective Gumshoe. Ha, 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 ha. I'm not a detective anymore. Oh yeah, sorry about that. Oh, don't worry. I've already decided where to work now. At your office. My office? Sure. I'll take the place of that top-nutter girl who you used to work with. Could he mean... Maya? Yeah, that's right. Maya left. That's why she's not here. I completely forgot Maya left. She went to go do a soul-searching journey or something at the end of the last game. I remember that. She left because she felt she was worthless, and then I didn't do a good enough explanation of showing her she's not worthless. Apparently, I presented the wrong evidence. I looked it up. Apparently, what I was supposed to do was present the evidence that she actually saved for me so I could actually pin the guy. So, yeah. I hope she comes back because I'm not comfortable with Gumshoe working at the place. Still, looks like we're all out of moves now. Chief Gann started again. How's it he always gets the upper hand? Because he's chief of police. He gets to make up the rules as he goes, apparently. That's just apparently something he's allowed to do. He's apparently allowed to just make up the rules as he goes, and nobody's allowed to stop him. Chief Gann is a little bit overpowered. I'm sorry. From a legal standpoint, Chief Gann is just a little bit overpowered. That's kind of cheap. It's not fair that he has the right to refuse to testify. Settle down, Wright. Remember what the judge said. But Chief, that is not a right to be casually invoked. There are certain risks to be considered. Risks? What did he mean by that? It's simple. If the chief refuses to testify, the opposite also holds true. You mean he forfeits his right to say anything too? Emma! Emma! Are you okay? Yeah, when I came to, I was in a medical office. I've been listening to the trial from the gallery. So she heard everything that's been going on. Emma, I'm sorry for what I said before. No, don't be. It was the truth. You know, it's funny. I must feel somehow relieved. Relieved? Yeah. Now I finally know what really happened. To think that all this time, my sister was being blackmailed by that terrible man. And she did it all just to protect me. Ever since her appointment as chief prosecutor, everyone who knew her said she changed. Yeah, perhaps it was easier that way for her. What do you mean? What do you think I mean? To follow Chief Gant's orders. She must have shut herself up deep inside. To force herself to do anything and everything the Chief told her to do. Yeah, probably. That must be why she became so cold. It was all my fault. It's all because I murdered Mr. Marshall. Hey, don't go blaming yourself now. I mean, as far as we know, he didn't actually kill anybody. She didn't actually kill anybody. At worst, it's manslaughter, not murder. But she'll probably be fine. It was an accident. But yeah, it's bad. If you want to blame anyone, blame society, pal. Chief Gant may be able to fool everyone with his forgery, but he can't fool my memory. I remember now. I knocked Mr. Marshall into that armor. I see. Well, we better get back. It's time for the final act. Emma, why don't you wait? No, I'm going with you. You're helping. Okay, that works. That works too. I want to be there. When Lena tells the truth. Let's go, Wright. It's time to end this. Alright, to be continued. Okay, we've got another one of these. We got another one to do. We got another one of these we need to do now. Alright. Yes. Trial letter 2. We got another one of these we need to do. This is going to be interesting. He's gonna. I think what's gonna happen is we are going to be able to get some information out of Lena that is finally going to put Gantz under, and he's going to be pissed about it probably. If I had to guess, Lena's testimony is going to be the final nail in the coffin that actually pins everything on Chief Gantz, and then we can actually prove that Lena is innocent. Although that still leaves the question of Emma. Emma remembers pushing Marshall into the thing, and he died. So, I don't know. It's got to be interesting seeing how that comes into play as well. Because, what if Emma didn't actually kill anybody? That's a possibility. I mean, she did repress her memories for a long time. It's entirely possible she may be forgetting some of the details. So, who knows? And in any case, though, I think I am going to leave this episode here. We'll finish up Rise from the Ashes next time. Then we'll move on to the second game, and then we'll see what the story is there. But in any case, we're almost at the end of this. One more episode of this, most likely, and then we'll finally be able to move on to the sequel. So, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also, be sure to follow me on Facebook and on Twitter in the description below. And also check out my Patreon in the description below as well. It's only a couple bucks a month. It really helps me out, and you guys get access to a bunch of cool perks that I'm by way saying thanks. So be sure to check those out in the description below as well. Again, only a couple bucks to help support me, and I'll help support you guys in turn. But in any case, thank you guys so much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace!